everyone will give your post-lunch attention to Carrie Crishon, and she's here to talk to you today about why your dress shouldn't limit your opportunities around STEM. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity. I want to start by introducing you to three people. First, Sandra Quigg, Executive Director of Boys and Girls Club of Harrisonburg and Rockingham County. Second, Juliana Duraco, a JMU alum who started on this particular journey with me as a junior and is now my invaluable program assistant. And third is JMU senior Jenna Hansen. On November 4th this past fall, Jenna drove to one of our local schools for her fourth semester engaging Boys and Girls Club members in STEM learning. On this particular Friday afternoon, Jenna is engaging Charlotte and Leo here and a few other children in a lesson on thermal energy. The reason I love this photo so much is because it conveys just how comfortable Charlotte and Leo are with Jenna. They like her, they look up to her, and they trust her. And because they trust her, they learn from her. The reason that Jenna has this hard-earned trust is simply because she comes back. She was there the first 7 weeks of the school year, teaching them about biodiversity and other forms of energy. And she's been coming back the next 14 weeks to teach them about human body systems, the environment, and space. In addition to working with these children every week, Jenna also has an important leadership role in this program, including but not limited to mentoring our newer volunteers like those you see here. In this role, Jenna is one of 3 STEM leadership interns, or SLIs, receiving a well-earned $1,200 stipend for her work for the year. Jenna and these others are some of the 80 students that make up STEM Corps. STEM Corps is unique to JMU. It's a community of our students dedicated to making sure that all of the children they work with in our programs see themselves as successful in STEM. What makes STEM Corps different than any other organization that does this type of work is that our students come from 28 very different majors, those listed here. I am often asked why, especially at conferences. I don't limit STEM Corps to just STEM majors and education majors, considering the nature of the work. And the reason is because if you think about what it takes to solve big problems in the real world through STEM, it really takes collaboration of individuals with a wide range of expertise and interest. And so I can't think of a better way to model that for children than to have them learning the foundations of STEM from a group of JMU students with very different interests and career pursuits, but are all there together collaborating on what is the biggest problem right now in STEM, and that is access. And very importantly, STEM Corps is a direct outcome of Madison Trust support from 2018. I'm going to tell you briefly about our partner and then what this partnership model with STEM Corps looks like and where I would like to take it with your support. Boys and Girls Club is a national nonprofit organization of over 4,300 clubs across the US. These clubs provide a safe space for learning and development before and after school for the children in their community, regardless of the family's ability to pay. So they provide a much-needed service to families who have no other option for childcare. Across our 7 clubs in Harrisonburg City and Rockingham County, over 85% of the families meet the criteria for low-income status. Low income is the #1 barrier to STEM, and when I use that phrase, I mean barrier to maintaining interest in STEM beyond elementary school through high school, pursuing STEM studies of some kind after high school, and entering a STEM field. One of the primary reasons for this barrier is that lower income families have limited access to out of school, also referred to as informal, STEM education programs. These are the places where interest in STEM is not just first peaked, but is also further developed as children can return to those programs. So this is why we chose to partner with an organization that already has a long-running proven success in working with lower income families and values informal education. So what does this look like? If you walk into Bluestone Elementary in Harrisonburg on a Friday between 4 to 5 and head to the cafeteria, you will see 10 small round tables, each with 2 of our STEM Corps students and about 5 children. In this program, our students are the role models, but they're also the teachers. They aren't assistants in the room passing out glue sticks while a teacher or professor leads a lesson. They're the ones breaking down the STEM concepts for understanding. They're the ones helping the children see the connection between what they're doing and what they've already learned in science or math. They're walking them through the hands-on portion of the lesson, and they're making sure that all of the children in their group really feel like they belong there and that they're successful at the end of the lesson. Now, because we have such a wide range of majors with different levels of STEM background, we do provide training for the program each week so that all of our students are comfortable explaining the STEM concepts correctly and on the right grade level, and are comfortable with how to engage young children. And when I say that we do that, I mean Juliana does all of that work, and she's very good at it. Before I talk about where I'd like to take that snapshot I just gave you, I want to provide some context. This partnership started as what I thought would be a temporary pivot during year one of the pandemic as a way to keep my students engaged in the K-12 community while schools were still closed. As we decided to sustain this project beyond that year, it developed into one of my several passion projects. And then this past summer, I decided to write an actual curriculum for this program. And when I was doing that, it turned into what I genuinely hope would be my career legacy when I retire, if I'm fortunate enough to have one. I've been at JMU for 15 years, and I've been in this role for 4 years. I am also a JMU alum and currently a JMU parent. I am equally dedicated to our students and to the community, and I feel strongly that this program is a meaningful way to connect those two. I'm only 46. I have many years to go before I retire and a lot I want to do. But the first thing that I want to do is expand this partnership so we can provide this weekly program to more children by working with more of those 7 clubs, and at the same time provide more leadership and engagement opportunities for our students. There are about 325 members that attend afternoon programming regularly in our 7 clubs. With our current resources, we can work with one of those clubs, reaching about 15% of those children. I realize that when you're talking about scaling up from 50 to 325, or really even do 150 every single week for the school year, that is a lot. However, I have managed several K-12 STEM outreach projects in my career, and the most important lesson that I've learned when it comes to sustainability is knowing where you can and cannot cut cost. Not everything needs to scale in equal magnitude. You have to be creative. For this particular program, the one limiting factor that I cannot and will not sacrifice are my STEM leadership interns. I have learned after 5 semesters of this program that in order to provide not just fun STEM, but research-informed STEM that promotes understanding and lays foundations for future learning, I need 3 SLIs per club. And it's a lot of work. It's not a volunteer position. And so for every additional 3 SLIs I can hire, that's another club that we can add to this weekly program. I already have a lot of the materials needed for scale up, and I'm pretty good at being resourceful and cutting cost when it comes to needing more materials. I have the volunteer interest, and we have successful recruitment strategies to keep STEM core growing. But I'm here today to ask for your support to provide more of what Juliana once described to me as life-changing leadership opportunities for our students through STEM core leadership. And lastly, this has the potential to be much bigger than JMU. At the same time that we're providing these experiences for our students in the community, we are also responding to what is no longer just a national recommendation, but what has become a plea to make informal STEM education work. And when they say work, they mean make a measurable difference in who says, I like STEM, I'm good at it, I'm going to keep working hard at it, and I'm going to make money doing it one day. For many years, the recommendations for that were pretty consistent. And then after 25 years of reviewing hundreds and hundreds of programs across the US, they realized it wasn't enough. So as a result, in the last 3 years, new recommendations have been added to that list. These 3 recommendations, which I will briefly explain, are the framework for the curriculum that I wrote for this program this past summer. They say first, yes, the activities, the lessons should be fun and interesting. Don't read out of a textbook, but they should also promote learning and understanding and give the children tools for future learning and success in STEM. They said the developers need to know the literature on how children understand and connect the disciplines of STEM and incorporate it. This particular goal and challenge out of all of them is and has always been my favorite part of this type of project, and I'm committed to continuing it. The second one says know what they're learning in school, especially science and math, and incorporate it and make it explicit. Don't expect the kids to figure it out. Ever since I started in STEM outreach in 2015, I have been familiarizing myself with the Virginia Learning Standards, including attending workshops every year for teachers, sitting at the same tables with them, learning about the standards the way that they learn. And the last one, connect to home and family. This used to fall under the broader category of make it relevant to their everyday lives, to their lives at home. And now it's saying, yes, keep doing that, but also give the children communication skills and tools and language and ideas so that they can spark conversations at home with their families about what they're doing in STEM and keep those conversations going. This bridge between school or after school and home that's required for this last piece is very hard for outside institutions like us to build. However, Boys and Girls Club, through its mission, is a natural school-to-home bridge. And Sandra, in particular, has built a very strong one in our community that she has invited us to use. So my current reading list is how do we use that bridge to encourage conversations about our program and STEM in general at home. I believe that it is time for someone with the right resources and motivation to develop the STEM outreach model that meets all 8 of those criteria with high standards, that can be scaled up and sustained and is replicable, so other institutions across the country could adopt it and use it with the organizations in their community. I believe that that leadership should come from someone in academia, because that would be someone that's already keeping up with the literature on how children learn in STEM, someone who knows how to translate that research into practice, someone that has strong relationships with both STEM and education experts, someone with access to hundreds of potential role models and facilitators, our students, and someone that has a trusted partnership with an organization that has already built that home-to-school bridge and that values informal education. I believe that we can do that at JMU, and I would like to lead that effort. And the very first step to doing that is to demonstrate that we can take this high-quality program we built, scale it up, and sustain that without compromising any quality, and keep that going in our own community. So while creating and assessing and disseminating a vetted model for other institutions to adopt, maybe a few years down the road, the work to get us there has the potential to really honestly change the lives of hundreds of our students through both leadership and engagement, and the hundreds of children that they will be working with every week. Thank you, and the 3 of us are happy to take your questions.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah. Love the concept. Have you explored, and maybe I missed this, because there's one paragraph that says external funding. Have you explored the corporate piece of this? With others, there's so many businesses that are looking for these types of students down the road that they are really willing to invest early on. So corporate, in this area, but when you scale this to other places, corporations and things that have trust and funds and things to support this. I just wanted to know if you had already engaged in the corporate sector.
I've received some corporate funding many years back from Merck. I have not looked at the options for this opportunity in particular yet. There's also federal funding. We talk about how we support other institutions in adopting a model that don't have a Madison Trust to help them. Do you want to speak to that at all?
So this is also where the partnership is great to have, because as a nonprofit in the area, Boys and Girls Club has reached out to various organizations, not yet for this.
Right.
However, in the future, it would be one of the many things that we could approach local and regional organizations to support.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, I'd like to applaud you. I mean, it's a great program.
Yes. Yeah.
I have the same concern. We fund you this year. What's the sustainability? What is you come back again next year? What is your thought process?
So the funding that's being asked would allow us to provide the stipends for the students that lead this program and keep it going. So yes, in order to maintain, let's say 7 clubs a year, I need those students every year. After we're able to do this for 1 year, we will be doing assessment and evaluation, and then that would position us to apply for federal or corporate corporate or other sources of funding to then scale it up. If we connect with another institution in Virginia that may want to try this as well, that would make us even more competitive for especially federal funding. So the idea is, let's see if we can get this working this year, put some assessment and evaluation tools in place so that we have data to show both how it's impacting our students and how they see their role in the community and how this will affect their future, and then also the children's attitudes towards STEM, identity in STEM, and how they make sense of STEM concepts. So this is the seed funding to get us to a position where we can apply for bigger funds to keep it going.
I hope you do it.
Thanks. Me too.
Impressive list of majors. So how are you able to recruit students? It's got to be great word of mouth to do this. How do you recruit the student volunteers?
Well, we don't pay the volunteers. We pay just those 3 students. The best recruitment strategy for the diversity of majors has been this opportunity was shared with the community of first-generation students and also our Centennial Scholars, and they have a lot of interest in this work. A lot of them are, like me, role models for these students and really see the value in it. Some of our students were Boys and Girls Club members as children. The majority of our students are biology, health science, some kind of pre-health professional, but we have more and more interest, especially as the word is spreading. Now that a few students that are Centennial Scholars that are criminal justice majors do it, they wear their STEM core shirt, they share our post on Instagram, someone sees it, and Instagram has also been our most valuable recruiting tool for students.
Quick question from our folks on Zoom. Are your students capable of working with children who are disabled or have difficulty with the English language?
We have not had that experience yet. When you were at Sims Club, did you have students?
So when we were at the center last year, we did have some students who were English as their second language, and some of our students actually did speak that language. There was also a lot of help from the Boys and Girls Club leaders who were able to help us communicate with the students. And surprisingly, there's a lot that can be done with our activities. It doesn't have to be verbally communicated, just by demonstrating, and they can draw pictures, they can use the models that we have in front of us. They're able to communicate that way as well.
Yeah, we have visuals for every single thing that we talk about and do, bright colored laminated pictures to help with students. I mean, because the age ranges we work with are 5 to 10, so they're on different reading levels and they're all in mixed groups. And as far as the students with disabilities, we haven't done that yet. It's something I'm doing at the middle school and high school level, but would be open to learning.
And Boys and Girls Club staff is always present, as Jules mentioned, so.
Other questions for the group?
No, really an amazing presentation.
Thank you.
Very well done. Very well done.